In the Last of Us universe, Cordyceps is the parasitic fungus that infects the brain and has devastated mankind, resulting in millions of zombie-like creatures that attack people in order to spread the fungal growths. In the video game in particular, the infection progresses in distinct stages, starting with runners. Runners are the first and weakest stage of the infected in the Last of Us series. These are people who've recently turned into infected after coming into contact with the Cordyceps brain infection. They're fast, erratic, and prone to swarming their targets. Runners usually enter this stage within 2 days of infection. Their skin becomes pale and covered in lesions, their hair falls out, and their eyesight deteriorates, leaving them with poor vision. However, they retain most of their human traits like moaning and speech, but their behavior is driven by the fungus. They can be heard moaning in pain and gasping as the infection warps their bodies. Their movement is erratic, and survivors sometimes believe their minds are still trapped inside, as seen with the crying runner after attacking one of their own friends. Runners are often not aggressive unless provoked or startled. They'll screech when they spot survivors and tend to attack in packs. Although they have heightened awareness through sight and sound, they're relatively easy to defeat one-on-one, but they also tend to attack in hordes, which can be quite dangerous. Interestingly, some concept art from the game shows runners using tools like shovels, knives, and rakes as weapons, which further shows how their mind is still somewhat present inside their body, despite the infection taking over. Stalkers are the terrifying second stage of the infected in the Last of Us series. They develop between 2 weeks and a year after infection, making them deadly foes with some unique traits. Physically, stalkers resemble the ferocity of clickers but have the vision and speed of runners. They also develop fungal growths on their faces, leaving them with weakened vision. You can hear them from a distance thanks to their distinct croaking noises, but they don't attack right away. Instead, they use stealth and take cover, only charging when they're close. They're very agile and deadly. In combat, stalkers are incredibly strong, often matching a fit human's strength. Their grab attacks can cause instant death even if you shake them off. The key to dealing with them is avoiding close-range combat unless you're prepared. Use stealth, throw bricks, or rely on guns like shotguns or rifles to take them down. Stalkers can be found in places like dark abandoned buildings, sewers, and even the forest. In The Last of Us Part 2, they appear more frequently, and their behavior has evolved. They'll sneak up, hide, and even attack in groups. And in The Last of Us TV series, stalkers even showed up in Season 2's first episode, raising concerns about how these infected seem to be getting smarter. Clickers are the third stage of infection in the Last of Us series. After about a year of exposure to the Cordyceps brain infection, their bodies undergo grotesque transformations. At this stage, the fungus has completely overtaken their bodies, making them barely human anymore. Their skulls are split open by the fungal growth, with huge patches of fungus protruding from their faces, often splitting them completely in half. The fungus eats through the skin and bone, forming fungal plates over their heads, which protect their brains but also distort their facial features. Their eyes are destroyed or entirely covered by the fungus, leaving them completely blind. Their mouths are filled with jagged, exposed teeth, and the rest of their body is also covered in mold and scaly fungal growths. The fungal infection is so severe that most of their clothing is torn apart, leaving behind a grotesque, decayed form. Despite being blind, clickers are able to use echolocation to hunt. They produce rapid clicking sounds that help them see their surroundings and detect anything within a short range. This crude form of echolocation allows them to hunt and track survivors. Clickers are also physically stronger than humans thanks to the infection. The fungal growth not only protects their brain, but also gives them enhanced strength, making them incredibly dangerous. Bloaters are the rarest and most terrifying stage of the infected in The Last of Us. These horrifying creatures are the result of years of Cordyceps fungus growth inside the host body. Over time, the fungus takes over, turning the infected into massive, nearly indestructible monsters. Their skin is covered in thick fungal armor, which acts like a suit of natural armor, with large scale-like patches that glow in the dark due to bioluminescence. These glowing fungal patches are not just for show. They house mycotoxin sacs, which are what makes bloaters so deadly. They can actually throw these sacs, which explode on impact, creating a toxic cloud that harms survivors over time. As the fungus grows, it completely deforms their face, rendering them blind. With no vision, bloaters rely on echolocation, like bats, to detect movement. But their echolocation is less precise than that of clickers, giving them a more guttural and slower clicking sound. These bloaters are incredibly strong. Their fungal armor covering their body makes them resistant to weapons, even shotguns or rifles. The fungus also acts as a protective shield, absorbing damage and protecting vital organs. They also grow in size, making them much more imposing than other infected. Despite their slow and lumbering movements, bloaters are capable of devastating attacks, using their strength to crush, grab, and kill anyone unfortunate enough to get too close. Shamblers are a horrifying variant of the infected introduced in The Last of Us Part 2. They represent a unique fourth stage of the Cordyceps brain infection, evolving due to exposure to high levels of moisture, particularly in humid environments like Seattle. Unlike bloaters, which develop in dry areas, Shamblers thrive in waterlogged environments. This is believed to be the result result of constant rainfall and high humidity, which forces their fungal infection to mutate. As a result, Shamblers have grotesque, pustule-covered bodies with massive fungal growths that cover their entire torso and head. Their mouths are locked open, unable to bite, and their eyes are partially visible, unlike bloaters and clickers, who are completely blind. Shamblers are not just horrifying to look at, they're extremely dangerous due to their acid-filled pustules. When threatened, they release bursts of toxic spores from their body, spraying harmful acid at nearby enemies. This acid is part of their defensive mechanism, making them even more deadly in close encounters. While they move slowly, Shamblers are capable of sudden bursts of speed if alerted. Their fungal growths make them incredibly tough, but they are not invulnerable. Despite their slow movement, Shamblers often appear in groups, making them especially dangerous in numbers. Their mutated body suggests they were in the process of becoming bloaters, but were redirected into this stage due to the constant exposure to water. The Rat King is a terrifying superorganism in The Last of Us Part 2, created when multiple infected, stalkers, clickers, and a bloater, are fused together by the Cordyceps fungus. This grotesque entity is one of the most powerful infected in the game, with strength and resilience that surpasses even a bloater's, capable of destroying hospital levels and withstanding massive damage. After taking enough damage, the Rat King can split, with some infected breaking off into separate entities. One of these infected behaves like a stalker, but can throw mycotoxin sacs like a bloater. This shows that each infected within the Rat King has distinct traits, though they're all part of the same massive organism. The Rat King is made up of some of the very first people infected by the Cordyceps brain infection in Seattle, and over 25 years, they were merged together by the fungus in a sealed, spore-filled room. The Rat King is the only known conjoined infected. Interestingly, the Rat King draws inspiration from films like Zygote and Annihilation, and real-life Rat Kings, rare phenomena where rats' tails become tangled, served as the basis for its design. The Rat King has 3 phases. First, you'll face the full mess, then the bloater and stalker split off, with the stalker becoming more aggressive in the 3rd phase. If you like this video, check out the one on your screen for another deep dive into The Last of Us. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.